jump into our first cast to get together today, and like I still don't miss working with you each and every day. I just want to throw that out there. It's an absolute pleasure to work with you, dude. So thank you.
I wish you were at least honest with me sometimes, because we go between a bit of praise on Twitter, then you abuse me in private, then it's more abuse on Twitter, then it's this kind of love comes out. I don't know which way you're going half the time anymore, Jess.
Look, I do just want to praise you before we do jump into the game. I love my job. I love being here and I love working with you. And I love this particular matchup because it does go back to Clubhouse. And it's kind of a matchup here that I'm interested in seeing, because if they do the role swaps that we saw in Oregon here for NaVi and they apply it to Clubhouse, are we going to see two completely different teams, two completely different outcomes here for NaVi? Will they become stronger on the attack as a result of maybe some role swaps there as well? Because that was a big issue here for NaVi. But almost the same bans here. What we're seeing from NaVi last play day on Clubhouse, they banned both Hibana and Wamai. This time they're going to get rid of Hibana and Malusi, and Team Empire's, or rather NaVi's going to get rid of Kaid and Thatcher. But that's interesting because they're doing NaVi's bans. I really got mixed up there because I seriously thought it was NaVi's bans because it was almost
watch out, boys. Jess is vexed. That's it. She's like, why? Why have they swapped places?
Why
These
did
things
they
happen
do
sometimes,
each
my
other's
dear.
bans? No, the Thatcher ban makes sense, but interesting.
The Thatcher and the Kaid is a pairing, absolutely. And Malusi, we spoke about this a couple of times last week, is starting to creep in now, become a more common ban. Seen Wamai being left open a few times as well, which has been surprising given pretty much every single EU team was banning him permanently in the last stage and at the major. The times are changing. Turns out a lot of teams really don't like playing against Malusi, but we do like a bit of Clubhouse action between NaVi and Empire. So let's get to it, Jess. Round number one, Church and Arsenal. Anything you can see in these lineups that's screaming out to you, that's a bit perplexing. And most importantly, I think we really need to take a quick look at what role Joe is going to be playing.
Oh, the loading screen, it's giving me the jitters. Get in there so I can double check what I'm looking at. Hey! Oh, God. Look at that. Look at the rolls here. Joe's on Maestro. It's all happening. It's all kicking off. Things are looking so different. He doesn't have the Jaeger in pocket. It's Doki's turn to rocket this time. And hopefully we don't see Doki at every door and window because, quite frankly, he wouldn't have the success that Joe would have, let's be frank.
It's really interesting how a year ago, Doki was basically Joe. He was the guy that came into the competition and just slapped everyone with a ridiculous number of kills. I believe in Pro League Season 11, he was the highest rated when it came to KD. May have been the prior season, actually, maybe not Season 10. Season 11 was aces. I always like to harp on about that stat around how Rogue have 3 of the MVP titles in different categories. So it was definitely Season 10. But over time, Doki has kind of settled into a different role. We've seen him on things like the Hibana. We've seen him picking up Thermite a few times on this map and not having a lot of success. So I like here how, with Joe kind of being acknowledged as a fantastic gunner, but saying, look, we need to pin him down a little bit, get him playing on site and using those frags for us in a sensible location. It has opened Doki up a little bit to remind us of why he was once considered, and I'd say arguably still is, one of the greatest in the game.
Well, this is what a good Jaeger player should do. Collect those drones early in the round, force them to lose a lot of intel, and then rotate closer back to site. Why? Well, you're just getting a little bit of freebie drones here and there. I love teams who do that. I love especially Jaeger players who commit to being able to stall out time by doing so without committing their body and soul to the fight because, not really necessary.
I've become so desensitized to Jaeger sitting in tower on Oregon at this point and just killing the first drone that comes through the door that I'm just like, at this point, if a Jaeger doesn't kill a drone, there is a serious problem. My brain cannot cope with it. Either way, Empire have done the starting yards, at least in the opening 60 seconds. A few drones coming out. Thankfully, only losing one to Doki playing on that roam. But he has made that smart call. Lesson for life. Once you've been droned out, get yourself back to site. Don't know how many places in your life that advice is going to be applicable, but here in Siege, it is everything. And Doki, waiting below the hatch, is just daring these Empire members to come peeking through. Lest they do, the head will be taken clean off. Slade put down in the dirt inside a stock. But it looks like no one's... He's being cautious about it. Shepard knows here. He knows what Doki can do. He knows what they might try and do here. A little bit too close, but gets away with it. Oh, sweating under the collar already. And we're only 90 seconds in and no one's died yet.
Shepard had to give up on that hatch because he realized he needed the rest of the gas for that hatch in towards Moto, which is absolutely hilarious that he's had to do that. I argue there's probably enough Selmas in hand, but maybe they want to use one towards Church Wall as well. So I don't know what the plan is around that, but he did scuff that hatch a little bit, so maybe it won't get fully open. But with 60 seconds left, I think all of the Empire players have a good amount of control of top floor. They've got the verticality here, Des. Hatches are not open, no! Oh no, he used his gas. Selmas? More? Can I get an extended view here? He's got one. That's not enough.
What? How?
Oh, no.
Surely you finish one off before you move off, but I guess not, which means we're going to have to see a BDS versus Fatality here and charge in sight with no hard breach on side. They have got the kitchen hatch, but we've seen so many teams dying trying to charge through here, as it looks like, though, Empire are finding those couple of kills they need. You've still got the smoke, you've still got Sage, you've still got Doki, you have all the OG members of NaVi still holding around here, looking to push through smoke, but this looks like it's going to be an Empire round through and through. The drop comes in from Shepard, going in for the plant. Sage trying to find one inside the blue, but Joystick, man, what is this return to form? Finds a third kill for himself, and they're still making good use of these hatches. It's actually Doki trying to make use of it in reverse. This should be a flawless round coming out for Empire. Yes, it will. Always collecting the final one. Joystick doing a lot of work, and despite that massive mess up when it came to the Maverick, they still managed to make the round work.
How magical is it when you're a team and you stuff up 2 whole hatches, which on Clubhouse is huge, right? Okay, granted, they got the kitchen hatch open. It wasn't Impact tricked or Kai tricked because, of course, it's banned. But you stuff up 2 whole hatches, which is a big doozy. I cannot understate that in any way, shape, or form. And then you manage to get onto site, and the one player who can have the best impact on you is hoping that you didn't make that doozy and those hatches are open for him. And they're just not. And suddenly it works in your favor. What a hilarious round to kick off this matchup here. Flawless, yes, but very sloppy from Empire, considering Shepard had one job and, well, he didn't really get it done very well.
I want to push back on that a little bit, Jess, and it's no surprise to anyone that you and I like to argue. I think the only thing that really went wrong for them in that round was the hatches, because the start of the round with the drone play, they lost 1 to the roamer. That's all they had to worry about. Joe was like a captive in a pirate ship. He was looking up through the slats, through his bars, through the floorboards above him, just like a taste of freedom, looking towards the window in kitchen, and then guess what? There's Joystick rappelling upside down the window, and he blasts his head clean off. Someone's got to tell him, look, you cannot see daylight, Joe. That is simply not allowed. I appreciate what he was trying to do. He wanted to contest into kitchen, but when you're playing on the Maestro with those impacts and trying to hopefully deny off the Selmas if they do come through into kitchen, you really shouldn't be peeking things like that. So for Empire, I think it was done pretty well, outside of the very obvious mistake that we all saw. Otherwise, they got the job done, a flawless round, they executed well, no complaints.
I will give it to them. I don't want to praise them too much, because when you make a mistake like that, it's on one player.
Oh, your praise is always so hard to earn.
Yeah. Look,
I know.
I praised you at the start of this matchup. Hush. I'm sick of you. God, you can't even compliment anyone without them turning it around on you in the end.
Gotta make you squirm a little bit. Being nice is not in your forte, so it's like, well, if I can make her squirm when she's being nice, then maybe she'll be a transformed person. I don't know.
Maybe. I'm getting there eventually. Maybe. What I want from Empire this round is NaVi are going back downstairs. So that tells me that that flawless round against them is not scary enough to move to another side, or they are not comfortable in other sides. I don't know what that tells, but for me, it says, okay, they're employing a roam strat this time. Empire should spot this out. Yes, they are. Those mute jammers won't really be able to block any of those drones coming in. And Empire, when they pinch and they have drones with them, I said this last game, they are scary. You just can't get away. They know exactly where you are. So I'm worried for NaVi, because I actually don't think this is the answer.
Well, they're looking to do all they can to pin the members of NaVi, and you just see constantly the number of drones. I was about to say, please kill the mute jammer. You can see how many they've got to step around the map, down in bar, across the top floor as well. Just making sure they can toggle through those as needs be and spot anyone trying to go for any big flanks or crazy plays, namely looking at Doki when I say things like that. He is really the only one playing in that roam position. I think we've seen Sage a couple of times playing up on these red stairs, trying to play a roam game when they are defending on the top floor, but here he is down on site. So really, Doki was the only one initially you're looking at potentially pushing off site, because everyone else, there are operators that you want left alive for the longest time possible or aren't really well suited for roaming.
Oh no, what a wasted C4. What a shame, because always, you know, kitchen, when it's opened up like that, there's only a few spots he could have been. So to be able to miss such a key C4 is a big shame. It also didn't really do any damage really at all. And now Doki's chance to get a flank up. Does Dan know this? He's on a drone. He can see him. He knows this. No, don't turn around. That was the wrong decision. He was so close. And that is what I meant by an ineffective roam. That really wasn't their fault in that particular case, because the drone was dead set in front of him.
Well, again, it's another couple of kills for them. And yes, playing on this roam game, it's almost like You almost got away with it that time, but Empire are being pretty meticulous around their approach here, aren't looking to go too gung-ho, are just holding back and playing off the information game, for which I absolutely cannot fault them. This is looking to be yet another flawless round. Finally, Kendrew is going to break the curse and give them their first kill after 8 deaths for the NaVi side. It's a starting point, but it's still a 4 versus 2. Time could be their friend if Kendrew got that kill, but sadly not. Now it's all down to Blur by himself. Kendrew's apprentice, as I've been calling him, has got a whole lot to do. He's got one down, but it is down. He can get himself back up pretty comfortably in just a couple of seconds. Back into a 4 versus 1, and Joystick strikes big again in round 2. That is another almost flawless round coming out for Empire here. That's 10 kills for them and 1 for NaVi across 2 rounds.
Oh no. I mean, we could pretty well classify that as a flawless round. The way that was even smoother. That was smooth like butter. Those hatches getting open, no mistakes this time from Team Empire, and they were just in. Dan was so lucky on that timing. We always speak about Siege being a matter of mere seconds. That was a millisecond. Had he have not gotten on his drone, and instead of Doki shooting the drone, he pushed up and engaged the person trying to get off their camera, he might have won that engagement. It would have given NaVi a leg up there, I think. I think those split-second decision-making skills that you've got to make as either a roam or a fragger or even just someone who's trying to get that flank, trying to get that edge, they can go wrong very quickly, and Empire really are abusing them here. Really, really worried for NaVi. A stark comparison to their game the other day on Clubhouse, where they just absolutely abused G2 on their defense. This time, they're getting abused back.
It's almost a beautiful irony that they were on Oregon in their last matchup, and it looked really good with these role swaps coming in. And now that we're back on Clubhouse, we're in a spot where those role swaps are actually looking way less effective than the ones that they were previously running when it was Joe playing on the Jaeger, trying to get up at doorways and causing trouble. Now, admittedly, we didn't really see G2 deal with them very well when they were out on the roam and causing trouble. I contested against Empire here because G2 is a team that you and I, a couple of times, we sat here and confused their drone game, sorry. Whereas for Empire, we commended them on the last play day. We said how good they are. I think at the starting phase of every single one of these rounds so far, every single one, there's only been 3, they've still only lost 1 drone to kick things off. So they're doing well in preserving the drones. They're making sure they've got a load left alive when it comes around to execution time, and are hopefully going to be dealing with this roam game.
Well, I don't know if you have a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation on your screen. Okay, good. It's not just me. I was like, Australian internet coming for me again. Not again. But it's okay. I can make sense of what's going on here. Firstly, I love teams who open up the soft part of that wall first before doing this. Why? 1, you negate the C4 on the soft wall post Maverick, and 2, the wall just completely opens up in a really easy fashion. You don't put yourself at risk to a wall bang if you want to open it with a sledge or anything. I prefer the way that Empire does it here. Did Shepard miss that bit?
I think he did. The middle bit. There you go. It's okay.
There we go. It's okay. An expert this round. He was warming up in the first round with the blowtorch, I think.
Yeah, no panic at all. Just as a quick comment as well after that last round, touching on the single kill that came in for NaVi. Was it me, you, and Dev yesterday that were here post-broadcast and said something like, oh, I hate it when the team get a single kill when they're in the 1vs because it then takes away the flawless round. Yes. It's like, it does almost go down on the record as not being a flawless round. Yeah, Dev gets real triggered by that. Don't blame him either. Completely feel his pain. Just as NaVi might start feeling the pain. In fact, no, it's Doki who strikes big onto down this time. That is the Sophia down, so not the end of the world, assuming a bit of the utility had already been expended. But with Empire already having done the work out towards the east, now you're looking towards construction or towards garage, and I'm curious to see where they start the second part of their assault.
Ooh, always. Did you get shot from bar there? I think you did. Or maybe it was... I don't even know where that was because I can't even see the play. It might have been Blur who looked through the bottom of garage there in the breach. Yeah, Blur was running in garage, so good on him for flicking out those shots. The big thing I think about the losses of Sophia there, Des, is that now that they don't have anything to go underneath and stock and remove anything that might be on the wall, that's a problem, but there's no wall denial, and here we go. NaVi's finally kicking off. Is this finally them just warming up and going, all right, we got it, boys, let's get it back in the bag?
Where the hell is Joe at this moment as well? I'd love to know where he is, because the kill he got then onto the one pushing upstairs was unbelievable. So he must have been in the back of sight. Yes, he was. Sprayed him at long range, through onto the stairs at the same time that Save secured a kill, and Doki still on the roam finds a couple of kills. This time round, Empire not able to deal with NaVi's play.
Much better there. I don't want to say it came out of the fact that Doki wasn't playing Jaeger. I don't want to say that, but he definitely looked more in his element on Valkyrie. And I don't know what it was. It was a split second where I think he took the engagement more confidently than we saw him in the previous round on Jaeger. And I know that seems like such a weird observation to make, but the reason I want to make it is that some players are more comfortable on flex operators than they are frag operators, just out of nature of being confident with that operator as a whole, whether it's scrims or other games that they're playing with it. That can come to a player really naturally. I don't know if that's what it is for Doki, especially with role swaps and whatnot. But I think that helped him really be able to contest into stock. They lost a key part of their push, and it started to domino from there. So now we get to go to bedroom. No CCTV. Well, we can't go there again. But I sort of thought to myself, when they tried downstairs twice, was that the bomb site they really wanted to win? Was that an area they thought, yeah, this is our best site? Because it really didn't look like their best site.
It might have to be in the next round, because if they win this one, that's where we have to head back down to, unless they really fancy trying bar and stock, of which we very rarely, if ever, see. Maybe once or twice a year a team will tease it, but it's definitely not a staple.
I want to see it.
I would love to see it. I remember the old days of the Monty plants inside a stock like every single time.
Monty Class for those stock plants? Back when I used to play comp, I used to be the dominant Glaz player for my team, and we used to do that push. That's how long ago that was.
All I'm going to say is I'm so glad that no team has to rely on your capabilities anymore, Jess. And I'm really thankful that you're here on the desk with me instead. This is what we need.
Oh, thank you.
That's how you abuse someone and then turn it around to be nice in 3 seconds, kids.
Look at the hole. Always, bro. He doesn't care.
The man's just going to run up with the whole thing being soft. They're in nice and easy. It's interesting because some teams, I'm not going to say all, some teams do like to reinforce those walls rather than... I guess the only issue there is you are committing 4 walls out towards the east side. And if that gets broken apart quite easy, this extended hold that a lot of teams like to do inside a CCTV, you're then down 4 reinforcements. And if you need to be looking towards where you might want to use them on site, well, you are, of course, down a few more. I'm keen to see where else they put those 2 reinforcements, whether they've gone downstairs somewhere, or more likely they are just all committed out towards the west and they've reinforced all of construction. No, they haven't. Okay.
I'm really confused as well because they didn't do the side.
Oh, they have. No, I just couldn't see it because of the slideshow. Okay. They've done the 2 ones into logistics. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering, one, why Doki's holding cash on his own. He committed the reinforcements there. No impact trick. They also don't have the line of sight open up from construction towards bedroom. What is this half washed up setup? I mean, we just praised NaVi around before, and now we're going to gym bedroom, and I'm like, huh? What is this?
I don't mind it. I can't remember who said it to me, but some point last week, someone said to me that a lot of teams have now started reinforcing the 2 logistics walls because so commonly you would see teams try and...
cash. Cash. I'm talking about cash. Sorry.
What's wrong with the cash walls being reinforced?
No, the cash walls are fine, right? But they didn't trick it in any way. And then you could see the cash wall to construction. Thank you, medics, if you could do a little twist and turn for me. The cash wall to construction, no lines of sight opened up, and he didn't hold it at all. So they just put reinforcements over there to force them to use a Selma or something? I don't know what that is.
I think so. I think that's why I said they haven't committed 4 out there, so maybe the intent isn't for it to be a super solid hold, it's just to waste a bit of time. And I guess in this case, because although Joe is down here, he wasn't the one being silly aggressive out towards that direction. Doki was almost tagged down in the process, but is at least still alive. And like I say, I think there's quite a bit of focus on that logistics double wall being reinforced now. Historically, and even in APAC just last week, we saw part of it being less soft. And I remember someone walking in and getting a 3K, which was unbelievable from behind a shield. So clearly still highly effective, but Doki is playing in such a lovely spot down here. He's just waiting for that golden call to come out of. They're pushing. The C4 sings through the sky, and hopefully there's a double kill waiting on the end of it for him. I'm looking at the timer here for Empire, though, Jess. 22 seconds remain. That's not a whole lot to make this one work, and considering you've got to deal with a C4 from below, that could just be the round ender. There it is. One comes out. Joystick goes down a second as Blur flicks onto the window and brings down another. Dan will find one for the team, and Scooter has got his way inside of sight, but now it's about getting in and finding out where these last 3 members are. Finds one in showers. It saves. He's gone. One more a bit closer. As Blur runs straight into another man, and they've managed to bring him down too, but Doki's still downstairs. The diffuser's outside. There's the shots rain around him. The clock hits 0. He will become invulnerable, and NaVi will take yet another round. However, my God, was it close in those dying moments.
Oh, I was sitting here gritting my teeth because I thought to myself, if Doki dies now, and let's be honest, he was in the best position a Valkyrie with a C4 or even a C4 hole above him that he had previously made could be. It was going to be a gym plan, no doubt in our mind. As soon as I believe the Buck outside the window or whomever it was on Empire had the diffuser went down, even the Maverick, I think it might have been, and they went down outside the window to Blur, I knew straight away, boom, this round goes to NaVi, because if Doki keeps his cool, calm collectedness below, no one can jump in the window with it, no one can jump outside the window to collect it, and no one can challenge him as he holds that power angle. Well done, NaVi. Came really off the back of Doki having a power position there.
See how round number 5 goes. We've now had two flavors, I think, of NaVi. At the very start, we saw the first couple of kills coming the way of Empire, and they just steamroll their way in. NaVi finding 1 kill out of 10. It's unbelievable. The next round looks a bit more convincing for them. Really good team play link up between Saves and Joe and trying to hold down Garage. The last round admittedly came down to a very scrappy moment, but as seems to become tradition with Empire these days, it's that clock running down to near 0 and a crucial mistake being made at the end. They completely forgot about Doki from below, who collected that crucial kill for NaVi to bring them the round. Let's see how it goes now that we're back downstairs. This was the site, of course, that they failed on twice. I'm hoping here they get at least more than 1 kill in this round.
We'll see how that goes, because it looks like both teams are now really getting into stride of things. Empire started off really strong. NaVi picked things up and said, okay, that's all right. We can collect our own couple of rounds. I'm a little bit worried here for NaVi, and especially when you're starting on your defense, and that seems to be their better side. I don't know whether that will change, whether they fix things up on attack or not, but it didn't really look that way last playday. So they've really got to rely on getting this last round on their defense, and then moving on to attack. They've got to be pretty picture perfect, because we've seen Team Empire be a pretty scary team recently.
I hate to keep on harping on the same point, but once again, I need to point you towards the drones on the side of Empire. And I think they've just lost a second, so it kind of ruins the point a bit. But again, drone preservation has been excellent for these boys. It's about the intel game. It's about making sure that Doki's not out doing anything crazy. Admittedly, in that last round, he did get the better of them. So I'm thinking here, well, let's get some drones in better positions. Look out for that vertical play that can sometimes come into effect. On this site, maybe less of an issue, given you'll have players at every single stairway in no time at all. They're even going to start things off on the top floor here. So what is it they're looking for? Who is it they're trying to seek down? Because I think... Oh, it's Blur.
Blur?
Blur? Surely you heard him. I was going to say, I didn't see his outline because of obviously the slideshow, but hey, what? Blur must have known the Ash was there.
They almost look like teammates running past each other. And Blur shot the drone and they just come zooming out. Obviously not aware that, hello, they're live droning. Someone's zooming in behind that, brother. Don't know what that was all about. But yeah, Blur, bit of a miscommunication, misjudgment of that situation there. And now, well, they get a really good pick onto a C4 player, onto a shotgun player, and of course, one of the key players of NaVi in the terms of Blur.
It's a painful one to have your mute playing up aggressively like that. And it's normally what you expect to see maybe a Jaeger, but not quite a mute. However, that shotgun would be pretty handy at close range, and maybe he was looking to contest from above or try and contest the hatch if someone came to drop in. Either way, Empire have dealt with that small issue, and now they're trying to tackle another small issue. It's Doki playing on blue stairs, going to swing out and bring him down. That's the second kill in the round for Empire, and this is feeling very reminiscent of rounds 1 and 2, Jess, where with still quite a bit of time left to play, Empire have found the opening 2 kills.
NaVi have kind of made it a little bit easy too. Blur was a one-on-one. Actually, in fact, if you think about it, it was a 1-on-3 because there was 3 of those Team Empire players there. Scyther moving in behind a live drone as well. And nonetheless, you also think about Doki there. He engaged one-on-one and lost out on it. I feel for NaVi because they're taking their ones and the plant's even going down. Full 20 seconds left.
Joe gets traded out. One more gets traded out in pipes. A bit of a bad take there from Saves and trying to contest that. It's going to be Kendrew all by himself. The clutch guard as we know him, but sadly always is getting this plant down. Going to get contested at least on main stairs by Scooter and win that one. However, it's a post plant. There's 40 seconds to go. It's Joystick and Always. And Joystick so far has been having a pretty good day. Kendrew and the rest of NaVi a little bit quieter. Points contested at long range and trying to control the recoil of this gun at that kind of range. I respect you, sir. But sadly, Joystick has the bigger gun in this instance. Down goes Kendrew. Down go NaVi. This is absolutely not their sight. I think it's time, Jess, that we go back to cash and CCTV.
Well, I am very worried for NaVi. I said they really needed that round, and oh, now they desperately need this round. And you said, there you go, CCTV and cash room. That's exactly where they'll go to. That's exactly what they need as well. That site, that bottom floor is cursed for them, especially against Empire. I don't know what it is, but Empire have read them like a book. All of their pushes, no matter which way they configure it, work for them. Even if the planter goes down, almost instantaneously someone else picks up the diffuse and goes again for it. I think Empire and the bottom floor are scary. I don't know if that's just them naturally against all teams or whether that is just something that's been a thorn in the side of NaVi. One thing I do want to also point out here as well, and it's a little bit interesting that we talk about players in this type of way, is that Joe being moved on to another role has, I guess, heightened his ability to be a team player. Not really seeing the effectiveness now here on Clubhouse, but on Oregon we absolutely did. And I had a conversation with the coach of Rogue, out of all people, just before Rousty, and he said it's interesting to see now that Joystick's worked out how to get with the meta, how to play as the game needs him to with those certain roles now, and it's really working wonders for him. And I said, I agree, because Joystick had a really rough stage one. He kept trying to do the old Joystick things, and it doesn't work anymore, not in this meta. And so he's worked out what his role needs, how he needs to play it, and it's working wonders for him. I really want to praise Joystick because that's awesome for him.
I also want to give a bit of a nod towards how things have gone so far for NaVi. By my count, and bearing in mind, actually, I haven't fully counted up all of the last play days rounds. Prior to the start of this week, they had won 5 attacking rounds in total. Their attacking record this season has been abysmal. So you know that going into the second half, things aren't going to look dicey, and their defensive record hasn't been woeful. It's been good, but it's about converting on the second half of a map where they have always struggled, and I'm very mindful of that becoming a factor as this game wears on. Started this round already, you found Doki down quite early, and he's been a big factor. In fact, was the clutch factor for them just a couple of rounds ago on Gym and Bedroom. This one admittedly came down to Saves and Joe having a big hero play inside a garage in the last round when we were defending CCTV Cash last time. So I'm thinking here, this is their opportunity to shine again, but Empire know they've got the numbers advantage to kick things off, and Blur, as you can see, is down to about 5 HP. Oh my god, the long range shotgun. Okay, that's a nice one, Kendrew. Good start, good start.
I really love seeing Kendrew play because his game sense is phenomenal. He might not be the best mechanically always, but his game sense really just allows him to flourish in those moments. Instead of engaging on a one-on-one horizontal basis, he opened up the hatch above. I'm still yet worried that we're seeing people engage the Empire players one-on-one. Blur and Doki could have been playing together. They were both roaming operators. They both had the capacity to do it. And why Blur wasn't over there with him is beyond me. Doki gets picked up for free. Blur almost dies doing a weird spawn peek through garage door. NaVi feels a little bit disjointed in some of those roles.
Well, this is time for Saves to be the hero player by himself. Now, there's only room enough here in this team for one hero, he says. As Joe going down earlier on in that peak, I think, out towards the east on the Maestro, cost them big time. We'll see here if Empire can actually manage to force him out. You've got Always coming now up the catwalk. It was Joe who saved him at this exact moment last time, but he's concussed to the high heavens, and without his pal to save him, Always going to walk up and clear Saves out, and that is garage cleared out. They have the south control, they have the east control, they don't have the below control, mind you, as Blur is looking to do some damage from below, and Kendrew is watching through the window as well as the entryway through that eastern breach. And there we go, Blur's going to strike. Clearly, no drone work there to find out where he is. A 3 versus 2, 35 seconds left on the clock, and only a couple of drones left alive here for the side of Empire, so a little bit blind, I think, coming into this final play. Let's see how they can step in and try and find it coming out. Dan getting sprayed down by Kendra, I believe, and then there's Blur from downstairs. This is exactly like Gym and Bedroom when they don't respect the player that is downstairs and the damage that he can cause. Trying to go for a plant, and Blur is trying to spray his way through the floor, but sadly cannot do the damage to bring down Shepard. Stan holding down to red stairs. Nothing else to come from this. This will be another plant yet again for Empire in this first half, and Blur has got a world to do with just 5 HP left. Same story for Dan. Shepard, though, looking a little bit healthier. Going to contest at the spot where his ally died not too long ago. Save sprayed down from Always in this exact position. And I'm sure they have a rough idea as to where he's coming from, but they want nothing to do with the site right now. The diffuser is down, hold on the windows, hold back towards the north side, and wait for Blur to come to you. The bait has been set very much, so you don't need to go too aggressive. 18 seconds to go. Not a lot to come from this one, I don't think, Jess. I don't see a world in which he gets 2 kills and gets a defuse in on this one. Try as he might.
Oh, he has to go for the defuse now. He's out of time. And right now, he has to stick it. He's out of time. 7-second defuse. Gets off. Decides he wants to go for the KD buff. And he's not even going to get it. Dan will shut him down completely. That is a really good point you brought up before. Team Empire just look like they don't care about anything but getting that plant down. Where's the site? Where's the site? Where's the diffuser? I want it on the ground. I want it planted. Let's go. And a hyper objective face team often does a lot better. And you're going to laugh at me here, and I'm going to use the most ironic comparison here. NaVi, Tokoname finals. Kendrew planted an abominable amount of times. Like, I don't even know if it was like one of the more than Goga's times that he had planted in one of the finals, but it was a huge amount of plants that Kendrew was able to get down. Now, a team has an 80% higher chance of winning a round on average if they get the diffuser down. That's why they, well, at least I speculated that NaVi won Tokanabe finals back in their old iteration. Now they're going up against the team who, well, they're using that straight back at them, and they're absolutely destroying them.
One thing I've got to raise is, well, two things. One, Kendrew is the one doing the work and the heavy lifting on this team when you have Saves, Doki, and Joe that you're looking towards to do some work for them. Second side of things, they have been the opening kill in one of those rounds. They were the opening death in 5 of them. Empire just had NaVi figured out there. There was very little they seemed to be able to do to bring things back from the brink at that point. Outside, as we saw a couple of rounds where NaVi played around the C4s from below, which was Doki doing all the work with a final spray down in the dying seconds. The other was that excellent defense inside a garage coming out of Joe and Saves as a pairing. So those rounds, even then, I would say only really one of them was particularly decisive. This could easily be a 5-1 right now, and Empire are 2 rounds away from closing it out, going into the defensive side, of which NaVi, as we know, are really not good at attacking right now. I'm hoping something has changed for them. Am I optimistic? Probably not.
Yeah, what a shame, considering we really were giving them the up and up after that Oregon game. Oh, God. Instead of running away from the traces, Scyther runs, or Scooter rather, runs straight towards them. He's a bit of an edgy player there. He kind of seemed like a Joe reincarnate, but the Russian version of Joe as he ran towards that. Nonetheless, big props here for NaVi. They've got drones zooming through. They've got those roam clear players in the side of at least Doki at the moment, and I saw Saves moving as well. That's... I guess the time management that they've been able to get by getting this top floor quite quickly bodes really well for them. The big test will be here. Are they able to get on site and get a plan down, or do they rely on eliminations, which I don't necessarily think a team on Clubhouse should.
Well, the focus starting up on the top floor. They've got enough hard breach here to make sure there's no mistakes being made in opening up hatches or walls. And the fact they've got 3 hard breaches to me screams that they want control of dirt, they want church, they want kitchen, they want everything going in their favor. Otherwise, why stack along all 3? Question is, do they have 1, enough opportunities to do it without getting themselves caught out? And 2, will Empire be looking to try and disrupt that plan? And that's what I'm thinking from Empire is, where are you going to see someone try and work some magic? Right now, the answer is no one, given you have 1 in dirt and 4 playing on the sites themselves. So not going to try and go too aggressive. As you often expect on this site, it does come down to turtle play. But watch once NaVi go for the execute, and it looks like it's going to be coming in through Moto. All 3 hard breaches gathered up together here.
They really want this church wall opened as well, because if they can give Doki this line of sight, Shepard can't play where he's standing now. Plant can go down either behind church in default, or it can even go on the Moto door there. But that means that the blue player needs to strike hard onto who is playing there? Is that who we got on the Jaeger? Scyther there.
Joystick. Okay, so... sorry, excuse me. I thought you said that player in dirt then. And I was like, no, she said blue. What are you on about?
Blue. My apologies. Nonetheless, Joe, there we go. Speaking of joystick, first kill to come out onto the smoke. That's one of the plant denials. But I think there's a few C4s, an Evil Eye, and as I say that, maybe blue control is in the hands of NaVi.
Oh, that's his down pushing up aggressively. It looked like it might have been for a second, but it's all about this side wall. Oh my god, the flank coming out of always. Where's the drone to watch that one? Doki, who was on main stairs, should have had that one under wraps. But now it's down to Doki all by himself. This is going to be a hard clutch in a 1 versus 2. 15 seconds to go, but Shepard turns around, and with the fadeaway, it's going to put him in the dirt. Man, that flank from the Maestro, yes, it didn't net loads of kills, but how on earth have Empire managed to run their way on such a heavy operator as well? Up the main hallway, spray down pipes when Doki was still stood on main door. Where's the flank drone? Where's the drone at Doki's feet just watching down the hallway?
The trouble is, whoever does play bottom main stairs is the player who's meant to cut the rotate. You don't often see a player commit a drone to that because someone could cross across your angle in a split second. So getting off your drone and shooting at the same time is not possible. So you need the player to be actively holding the line of sight. And Doki there was worried about all of the Maverick holes and the hole in church. And it was, we speak about timing. That was a timing issue. I don't really want to blame Doki there, but a little more communication between him and his teammates as to who was holding what might have negated that situation. I don't know. It's a rough one to analyze, especially when you don't know what the comms sounded like at the time. But it definitely was a miscommunication of some type, and that was Doki's angle. He wasn't on it for some reason, shape, form, whatever it might be, and that's just the way it goes sometimes.
It is, but again, I touch back on if a drone was at his feet, there's no risk to you in holding that angle. You'd have sat watching a drone. If someone dares try and challenge, you come off the drone, you swing out, you spray, swing or be swung. And in that case, they got swung on big time on pipes, and that ultimately was the crushing moment that ruined, well, not ruined it, but lost the round for NaVi, I guess you could say. That puts them at 5-2. Empire, one more round required, and they will put themselves into a position where, well, they've got a guaranteed draw at the very least. And the thing is, both of these teams, you would say, were scrapping over those relegation spots potentially.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, we've got teams like Tempera, Chaos, Empire, Vitality, NaVi. They're all circling around this relegation spot right now. This could have been a big game that if NaVi won here today, given their result the other day, would have been able to climb away from this and put themselves into safety as Team Secret have done. But a result like this for Empire, who I think are slightly worse off right now, will probably find themselves climbing towards safety, and suddenly NaVi are dragged back into that fight.
Shepard got quite a bit lit up there, so he's lucky he walks away with his life. And I like that NaVi are bringing all of these hard breaches. I mean, it's fail-safe after fail-safe, isn't it? And you love to see it. You love to have a team that turns around and goes, we know problems happen, and there we go. Saves finally kicks off with some kills onto Secret. I'm not entirely sure whether or not... Oh, that was a nice little spot there into Dan, who's peaked almost everything this entire matchup. Is this enough here for NaVi to win the next, let's say, 3 rounds, not even in a row, but just 3 rounds, and then go, okay, we put ourselves in a position either not to draw and get the points and pull ourselves into a better position, or Empire, who in stage 2 now are 7 points, they're top 4 right now. So they're doing pretty good for themselves, and if they win this as well, they're doing great for themselves.
Crazy to think we'd be saying that around Empire, given how dismal their first stage was. What a grenade coming singing out, by the way. This is almost the Empire effect taking place for NaVi. They found the opening 2 kills, and now they are steaming over these Empire members. It's down to Joystick, it's down to Shepard, 2 of the most iconic members on the Empire line, are both playing on these hard support SAS roles here with the Mute and, well, I say SAS, I use that word far too much in my working day. The Mute and the Mute and the Smoke on the SAS operators, shotguns and SMGs in hand, just daring NaVi to come jumping in, and just like that, there's a shotgun. It's like a hello, window shopping, no thank you, get away from my window, and down goes Joe. It is only 1 kill. We still have 60 seconds to go. There's a lot of time still to play with here for the side of NaVi, but Empire could yet put a spanner in the works.
NaVi are focusing on the plan here. They've asked Kendra to come up, go for the plant. He'll actually open this wall. Safe choice there. That's actually really well done, because he's ability to have access to and from the plant once he gets it down is really important without exposing himself to the cash door. Smart play. Blur is very aware of Shepard's. That's a freebie. Oh, he didn't bounce it correctly. No, and Shepard, he really wants to go for yet another shotgun. Here, with last smoke bait raining out, this is good timing for NaVi. Surely this plant goes down, and it will.
It missed, yeah, because Kendra is not going to come off the planet here. He's going to stick it all the way through it. Oh, he's downstairs with the C4, throws it out, but I think it might be too late. No, does find Kendra, who hung around a little bit too long, or was a bit too slow in getting away. But Blur, all he's got to do is sit out on Vincere, and that prevents the jump out coming through. They might be looking for, Joystick finds 1. That's 2 kills pulled back for Empire here. There's only a single drone on the side of NaVi, so maybe it's in a spot to watch out for these flanks coming up. But you've got to be so cautious here. If you're playing as the side of NaVi, they're giving it away. Doki's down, Blur. My God, has he got to be sweating right now. This road might just be a Blur if he doesn't get it right. Finds 1, it's a double kill. Where is the last 12 seconds to go? And Shepard, I fear he hasn't got enough time. Even if he finds this kill, he's got to go and stick the plants here. Unless he manages to get this all the way through, he ain't going to have a chance. I think he will get the closing kill, but sadly, there's going to be no closeout here due to the timer. Empire coming very close to pulling back a 2 versus 4, but NaVi winning thanks to the time.
Yeah. Thank God Doki said something. That SMG shot long range through either the rotate or the window all the way over to the edge of the top stairs of rafters. We didn't get to see it first person, but I guarantee it was an absolute banger. That was, I hope he shadow played it or something so I can see it, because that shot was, I can just imagine to be unimaginable at that range with the SMG with a headshot. Whew, I'm reeling for Doki there, because to die to that, there's no way you beat it. That's really cool. That's an amazing shot. I really feel that Joystick has like hit his momentum here in his new roles as a flex and support, and I'm really happy for him. And to almost have a complete retake by 2 SMG 11 players and shotgun says a lot about your support players.
pretty unbelievable because we said, oh, surely this is where it's over now. It's the Empire effect. NaVi are in a 5 versus 2. This one's done and dusted. Not quite as clear cut as that, I'm afraid, but sadly, time waits for no one, including the diffuser timer as well. Didn't have enough of it, just left. Maybe if it was 5 seconds sooner, that could have been a different story, but either way, would have been playing Ring Around the Roses with Blur, I think, and it would have ended in exactly the same fashion. Either way, let's not dwell on the past too much. That was a NaVi round. It puts them at 5 and 3, which is a nice start, but they're still going to be able to breach through, like you say, 2 or 3 more rounds if they're going to force us to even be a draw, let alone a win, because right now, it looks like Empire are the ones on course to do just that. Playing with the mirror on the gym and bedroom defense, one looking in towards logistics. I expect another to go in bathroom to be looking out towards the western wall towards Jacuzzi. And otherwise, it's about for NaVi. How can we break that open? Is it the vertical play we're looking for? What have we got to do here to break open this Empire stronghold?
Yeah, easy dispose there of Doki from below in kitchen. Good map knowledge there to be able to deal with it rather than on a horizontal basis or from the hatch. They're dealing with it from below. Well played. Mirror gets absolutely just dispatched of almost instantly. And now for Dan, I think he's going to worry about the fact that he's now had one of his big utility pieces
Doki
gone. And where was that? Oh, from below. Oh no, was there did he drone himself? Big no-no. And 2, if he did drone himself, okay. Hatch drop.
I love how Medics is the ever-present god who just knows when we miss things, and he's like, it was here, this happened. Observers miss nothing. They aren't just letting you guys observe the game, they're also observing themselves, so they know exactly what is going down.
That was really strong there from Joystick. Oh, the vertical holes. Oh no, Joystick opens up into the wall of strip there, and also it happens to be able to get a crossfire. Oh, this is a really sad tale here for NaVi because they didn't even get an opportunity to get this wall open before things went really, really wrong. And now that'll put them on forced draw point if Empire does manage to win this round. NaVi can bring it back. They've still got a minute 20 left on the clock, but it doesn't look like the Empire players want to give them anything. When you're in a man advantage like this, the smart thing to do is to say, rather than peek, let's play as we need to. But Scyther throws his life out of the line here. That C4 won't hit. Close. Yikes. Yeah.
A couple of pixels lower, and that would have had the effect of blowing up the player on the other side, but sadly it's stuck on the inside. That explosion will return into the building rather than heading outside and blowing up the player, Blur, that was trying to get things open. Speaking of the players that are left alive for NaVi, it's Blur and Kendrew. 2 players, a dream between them to share, and carrying the hopes of their dead comrades here. 40 seconds to go at 2 versus 4, and yes, Kendrew traded one back onto Scooter, but I'm thinking here about how much time he's still going to play with in Joystick. Man, this guy has woken up, as you mentioned, going into the support role after a terrible season back in stage number 1. In stage number 2, we are seeing a very different player.
Blur realizes as well that he needs to be able to get Joystick below because that's going to be an issue, and he doesn't really have time to deal with the entire team as well. Joystick is down behind him. He's actually chilling out on the couch. Blur has no idea. He will get gifted always anyway, but I mean, this round's all over. This is a forced draw point here, Des, and the big thing for NaVi that they've got to walk away after these rounds and say to each other is, 1, what do we want to focus on as our step-by-step on attack? I used to tell my players this. I said, I know you want to do 100 things. I know you want to have your own impact in the round, but sometimes one part of the attack strategy is more important than what you want to do and needs to be done as a priority first. The priority there for NaVi was the wall, and they didn't focus on that as number 1. And as a result, people fell like flies around them and left them in a really precarious situation. Sometimes just being clear-headed and saying to each other, let's focus on this first. Yes, wall's open. Cool. Now what do we need to do? Well, I want to make sure no one's below. Cool. Let me drone you in. Let me see if we can get someone below. Excellent. All right, is this clear? Okay, there's a mirror here. Let's clear this. Step by step, boys. Not everything needs to be done at once.
I think it's also that, and I think across the last few rounds that we've now seen, very frequently it's these gunfights being taken away from the objective, away from the focus as to what is meant to actually be going on in these rounds. Because there it was Doki getting into a scrap downstairs. It was, I believe it was Joe, and I want to say it was Says hanging out towards CCTV, getting caught in a firefight as well. That leaves you with 2 left alive, your Maverick and your IQ. you really can't do too much in that situation. So without really putting a focus on the objective itself, and I completely appreciate you do want CCTV control before you try and push gym and bedroom. You need control of that south balcony, I understand. But the fact that you're losing those 3 critical members so early on, it completely puts the round in the dirt for you. And that was a total flip to what we saw in round number 8. That now puts us going into round number 10 at a 6-3 to Empire. One more round, and NaVi are in the dirt, and so it might turn out. Their roll swaps they made in the last game that we praised to the high heavens that look so effective might actually not be so effective against every single team they come up against.
Yeah, that's very true. I can already tell by the confidence, and I'm hoping here, the confidence of Doki running in this way is that, one, they had good pre-placed drones, and I actually didn't spot them myself, and 2, there's already one zooming through this map here for NaVi. I really did praise them on their first attacking round for their speed, and I was really happy to see that they were really focused on time management. Taste your own medicine there, Scooter. Says will cap him out at the top of Secret. And I think now that they have this man advantage, this is NaVi's opportunity to turn around and go, next 3 rounds in a row, boys. We've got this. We're fired up. We need this draw point at the very least, because it's all they're going to damn get from this matchup now.
Oh, man. The thing is, both of these teams collectively are, well, between the two of them, NaVi are sat on 17 points, Empire on 16. So like I said, for Empire, this might just lift them out of that range of relegation. I've kind of done the maths a little bit, played around with it over the weekend a couple of times, and I think 16, 17 points is that safety mark. If you're on 16 points, you're probably getting pulled into a tiebreaker. If you're on 17 plus, chances are you're going to be safe. So I think this might just turn out to be enough for Empire to put themselves in the spot. One, not only where are they going to be safe, but could also start threatening into the top floor. If Secret lose later, Empire will be 1 point behind. That's fourth place contest coming out. That would be one hell of a recovery for Empire, who also didn't have a very good stage 1.
It kind of feels like the Empire is back, and I don't mean to make such a disgusting pun, and good shot there from Doki reading into that situation on Ashwall, but I kind of want to say, is the Empire back? And a lot of people have been saying with joystick sort of kicking back in, is the cyborg back? Is the Russian machine well-oiled and running to its full capacity again? I can't say positively to the fans that it is, but what I can say, this round here looks a little dire for them, but if they pull it back and they win this, you can be pretty satisfied that this team can work under all kinds of stresses.
Good smoke coming out as well from Joystick to at least delay slightly what's going on Church Wall. NaVi, oh my god, he got sprayed through. Didn't know. I think that Doki had that opened up, and this time Doki was watching, but does get swung on by Joystick. 2 members left alive for Empire if they're going to close this game out here. Otherwise, NaVi's dream stays alive. Swinging out now, it's Joystick. 12 kills to his name across 9 rounds. Looks away at the wrong time. Must surely look back, but no. Doesn't get peeked out by, I think it was Kendra, I was going to say. Yes, hanging out on main stairs. That's a freebie if I've ever seen one coming out for Joystick, and no punish on the other side. Joystick finds a triple kill. How many times can one man do this in one game? Kendru's now down on the main stairs. That is Doki. Sorry, that is Joe, and it is Kendru. No, it was Doki. Getting swung out on the main stairs, both dying down. Joe pushes out into blue. No way if they've managed to clinch this back again. It looks like they have. NaVi are out of time. What on earth happened there? They had so much control coming in for the longest time. They had pipes, they had the wall being opened up, they had a 4 versus 2, and they still managed to throw it away. That's painful to see. So painful.
The Empire is back, the Russian machine is well-oiled, and Joystick, the cyborg himself, has shown that he's back in action. 14-5, almost a 3 KD for that matchup. And I tell you what, I said if they can clutch that round of 3v